Hello everyone. So I am going to talk about your grammar book, Unit 10, Prepositions of Time. And I am going to cover 3 areas. The first one is prepositions with time expressions, and then other prepositions of time, and lastly, some prepositional phrases. Okay, so let's start with the first one, prepositions with time expressions. So for prepositions with time expressions, and usually, so these 3 prepositions are the the most common ones. We have in, and then we have on, and lastly, we have got at. In, on, at. So these 3 are the most common ones. So let's take a look at the differences between them. Okay, so here are the differences between them. So look at this table. And you can also find this table in your grammar book, page 94. Okay, so let's take a look at in first. So we use in to talk about a longer periods of time. For example, the month here, in March. And then we have got in 2014, which is the year. And then we have in the last century. So longer periods of time, we use in. And then we use on with specific days or days. For example, on Monday, on Wednesday. So they are the days of the week. It's just like on Friday, on Sunday, on Saturday, okay? Or this one, so this is the dates, okay? On 22nd of March, on 1st of May. Okay, and what about at? So we use at with exact points in time, together with holidays and festivals. For example, the time here, at 9 a.m., at lunchtime, and then for the festival here, at Christmas, at Easter. Okay? Okay, so another difference between them, okay, is that actually we have to use in with all these expressions. Just like in the morning, and then in the middle of the night, in modern times, in one's absence. Then we use on, okay, to talk about these, okay, expressions. Remember, boys and girls, I would like to highlight this one. So we say in the morning, right? However, if we add the day of the week here, we don't say in Monday morning, okay? We use on Monday morning, on the evening of 22nd of March, okay, on that day, on National Day. And then for at, we say at night, at the weekend, at dawn, at daybreak, etc. Okay, and then we have got another table here. So we also use in to talk about this. In the past, in the future. And then for on my birthday, on this occasion, on his arrival, on his departure, on Christmas Eve or on Christmas Day. But then for, if you just write Christmas, okay, if this is just Christmas, so we use at Christmas, but on Christmas Day or on Christmas Eve. And then for the at here, so we say at first, okay, we do something, and then at last we have to do something. At the same time, at present, but in the past, in the future. At the age of, and then at the beginning of. Okay, so and then for this slide, for this page, so I want to introduce you, okay, to some other usages of these 3 very common prepositions. So we use in to talk about a period of time in the future. And that's why, as you can see, we are using a simple future tense here. I will be back. I'll be back in half an hour, which means I'll be back within half an hour. Okay, we can also use in to talk about how long it takes to do something. How long it takes to do something. I finished the novel in 3 days. That means I used 3 days to finish reading the whole book. And what about on? So we use on with a gerund. Okay, so a gerund looks like this, ing form. For example, on hearing the news, she collapsed. So you can compare. If you really want to sound more formal, so you can use upon. Upon hearing the news, she collapsed. Okay? And then we use at with what time. So we can simply say, what time are you leaving tonight? Or if you really want to make it sound more formal, so you can add at before what time. At what time are you leaving tonight? But usually it's okay to just use what time. Okay, what time are you leaving tonight? Okay, so I would like to introduce you to some other prepositions in time. Prepositions of time. Okay, so they are very common ones as well. Let's look at the first one. I did some reading before, so it can be before dinner, after dinner, to talk about like what time you were doing the reading. And the shop opens from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. So we use it together. We use from and then to. But of course, if you would like to use another pair, so you can use between. But then when we use between, so you have to say between and. We never say between 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's wrong. Okay, if you really want to use from, you have to use from with to. If you really want to use between, you have to use between with and. I haven't seen her since last year or for a year. Okay, and we use present perfect tense here in this case. I haven't seen her since last year. Okay, that means I didn't see her last year, and then until now I still haven't seen her. And then they talked about the good old days over dinner. You can also use during dinner. It's okay too. Okay, during dinner or over dinner. Or you can also use the word throughout. She remained silent throughout the meeting. That means from the beginning till the end. From the beginning to the end of the meeting, and then she remained silent. She didn't say anything. Okay, we say throughout. We use throughout. Okay? Okay, and then I would like to introduce you to the prepositional phrases. Okay? Prepositional phrases. So please look at by and until. By and until here. So we use by to mean not later than. Okay, for example, you look at the first sample sentence here. You must be home by 11 o'clock. Mr. Tam said to his daughter, which means you must arrive home not later than 11 o'clock. Okay? You must arrive home before or at 11 o'clock, not later than this time. So we use by here. So what about until? Okay, to show how long a situation continues. I will be here until 12 noon. Okay? I will be here until 12 noon, which means after 12, I won't be here anymore. Okay? I won't be back until 2 p.m., which means before 2 p.m., I won't be here. Okay, so if anyone calls in the morning, so ask them to call again in the afternoon, because I won't be back until 2 p.m. So pay attention to the difference between the two, because for this sentence, we are using the negative form here. Okay? So, on this page, so we learn the usages of by and until. Okay, so what about in and during? Okay, what about in and during? So we use in and during for a period of time, often with the same meaning. Okay, it rained heavily in the night. It rained heavily during the night. But we Okay, if we really want to talk about something which continues throughout a period of time, so we use during. My parents visited Australia during the winter break. That means like from the start of the winter break, from the start of that holiday until the end of it. Okay, we are talking about a period of time. A period of time, so we use during. We use during with a period of time. So what about on time and in time? So what is the difference between them? On time and in time. So you look at, okay, so please look at the example here. Our train arrived on time. On time means our train was not late. Okay? And then we arrived at the station in time to catch our train. That means we arrived soon enough to catch our train. So our train arrived on time and in time. So the first one, it was not late. And the second one, so we were very, very lucky because we arrived at the station in time, just in time to catch our train. Okay? And then another two prepositional phrases here, at the end of and then in the end. So at the end of the show, the performers came out to take their curtain call. That means when the show ended, at the end of the show. And basically, so after at the end of, so you have to add something here. So add in a noun here. At first, the new boy failed in many subjects, but in the end, the meaning here means finally, eventually. So after in the end, you don't really have to add another noun here. You don't have to say in the end of something. Okay? So we just say in the end. He managed to keep up with the rest of the class. Okay? Okay, and I want to remind you once again, okay, so for during. So just like what I told you before, so for during and in, so for many cases, so we can use both of them without a very big difference in meaning. However, if you really want to talk about an activity, for example, a visit, a meal, okay, so we have to use during. So we have to use during. We say during lunch, okay, during the meeting, okay, so during the movie if you're talking about an activity. So we use during instead of in. And so sometimes we don't really have to use any preposition. That means we put a cross there. We don't use any preposition before these expressions, okay? For example, today. For example, yesterday. For example, tomorrow. Last month, last week, last Tuesday, last Wednesday. This, for example, this morning, this year, and then next Friday, next Easter, next year, next month. Every weekend, every morning. Okay? So for all this, okay, so for all this, so we don't really use any preposition before them, okay? And then we have for example, something later, okay, 2 days later, 3 hours later, 2 months later, okay? For example, we will have a picnic on this Sunday is wrong. We can say on Sunday, okay? If you really want to use on, okay, with Sunday, don't add this. Okay, don't add this in between. You can either say we will have a picnic on Sunday, or we will have a picnic this Sunday. Okay? But then you can compare this one. The missing girl was found 2 days later. Okay? 2 days later. But not the missing girl was found was found on 2 days later. No. Okay? But if you really want to use in, I will give you an answer in 2 days, which means I'm talking about the things in the future. I will give you the answer. Simple future tense here. Okay? So with the use of, this time, to talk about something in the future. So within 2 days, you can say so, but not, okay, 2 days later. If you really want to use the word later, okay, if you really want to use the word later, do not use any preposition before that. Okay? Okay, and I would like you to try the grammar practice, the grammar exercises in your grammar book, okay, on page 96. And I would like to show you, okay, so the first few questions as an example. Okay, the first few questions as an example. Okay, so we look at the second one, because the first one has been done for you. So let's look at the second one. I am on holiday. And then for tomorrow, remember, so before tomorrow, we don't add anything. I am going on holiday tomorrow, but I will be back. Can't you see the hint here? So this is in simple future tense. That means I am talking about my plan in the future, okay, an action in the future, something a week's time, which means I will be back within this week, okay, within this week, and that's why we have to use in here, in a week's time. And then she learned to use the computer. We are talking about how long she took, okay, to learn something, to do something. And that's why we say in a few days. She learned to use the computer in a few days, okay? And then she woke up early, so for the morning, we have to use in the morning. But didn't get out of bed until her alarm clock rang, so for the time here, we have to use at, okay? So I hope that you have a better understanding, okay, of how on how the different prepositions are used, okay, the usages and the differences between them, okay. And now, so please finish the other exercises in your grammar book of this chapter, okay.